please.
All right. First of all, thanks for coming in, lads. Right, you talked about vaccinating badgers. We talked about vaccinating cattle. We know that from English trials that vaccinating cattle hasn't worked, that they were shown positive when they were tested the second time. How do you know that they're working for badgers?
Based on the science that.
No, but forget about the science. When you've said that you test an animal, the vaccine for a bullock or a heifer, if we put it onto them, we cannot at the moment, the English are gone back again redoing it. We cannot know because they're showing up as if they have TB. We have said that we're not testing badgers. How do we know that this is working, that it's not a charade of a test?
Well, we take out the positive ones, and there's. You mean the blood test on the?
Yeah,
badger?
you've said that you're not testing the badgers that was tested, that was vaccinated. All right.
We're testing badgers to be vaccinated.
Yeah, but with the vaccinated badgers, you're saying you're not testing them.
Not routinely, no.
So how do you know it's working then?
Well, based on the non-inferiority
Yeah, but
trial
like,
results.
you're talking about science that someone else done. You haven't done it on the ground.
There are trials.
So it's not, you're not testing the badger that was vaccinated already, yes or no?
No, we're not, because
Right. You're talking about, the department is talking about at the moment, that, is it that if you're on movements of cattle, that you'll be testing, that the next farmer that gets an animal would have to test them again. Is that right or wrong? Is this going on at the forum?
no.
There's no problem about that, is there not?
No.
As I understand it, we're
So if I buy a cow and she wasn't tested inside 6 months, am I not right in saying I have to test her again?
That's the current animal
That's
health
the
law.
current situation. That's
That's,
changed.
that's an EU law requirement for certain categories of cows.
All right. You're talking about that at the moment, if say if a herd breaks down, that you can send them, if you're a big breakdown, if you want to get rid of cattle, you can send them to feedlots or whatever. Is that right?
That's the current situation anyway.
So a feedlot, in my understanding, isn't a shed always. A feedlot is where there has to be double fence on either side. What's to stop the badger roaming in there to them and roaming out?
There isn't, but I think
But there's more stipulation on an ordinary farmer than there is on a feedlot. Am I right or wrong now?
no, there is a there are additional requirements on feed.
Yeah, there is a fence each side.
They
It has
don't
to be a fence each side. That's the stipulation.
for cattle, spread for cattle, and we're asking them also to fence offsets to
But you're asking a farmer to fence offsets,
the feedlot operator. Yes,
and the farmer as well as asked.
yes.
But how come that there's, like, this thing I can't get in, everyone thinks a feedlot is a shed. It's not. It's land as well with double fence on each side. And that's the regulations, and they do that. I'm not saying one word to them. But the badger cannot be stopped travelling there and travelling somewhere else. But you're saying infected cattle can go there, but not anywhere
Well,
else.
they're not necessarily infected. They're cattle that can come from. They've passed the tuberculin test.
They have a high,
They've passed the tuberculin test, and our whole genome sequencing studies would suggest that that feedlots are not a factor in
right,
spread.
this clock has gone arseways altogether because I was on 4 minutes a while ago and now I'm at 58 seconds.
Time
Right, yeah, but
flies,
no,
doesn't it?
no, fair is fair. Right, in the line of proposals, in your opinion, and I've heard it from a few, are you saying that, you know, the paddocks where there's a lot of cows in together, is that showing up more infection? Just yes or no? Jesus, my
if-
time, my clock, like.
Well, that's an impossible question.
2
to
minutes
answer.
left. That's an impossible answer, you can't answer that.
Well, stock and rate is a factor, but paddock.
We're hearing it from different departments officials that where there's a lot of cattle together, they're breeding.
Yeah, well, where stock and density is, there's more potential for nose-to-nose transmission.
Just
yes.
to know, that's all we want to know. There's another thing, and farmers are getting very sick of this. There's a breakdown in an area, you'll hear that there's a severe interpretation and less severe interpretation. Either we put the gear into them and it shows that they're gone down or they're not gone down. And why then is there so much false positives on this blood test? And why also are we not, my understanding is there is asymptomatic cattle that never show up, but there's a UCD test. Why aren't we using that fairly rapid to try and nail down if there's one within in the herd that's given it, infecting the herd, but not
It's not
showing
that
it?
simple to identify those animals. There is no UCD test that's going to
there
pick
not?
up. There's tests.
Well, a farmer near me, someone came out from UCD and said to them that they were from UCD and they're doing this test.
The test, there are still animals that the GAM interferon test does not pick up. There's some of these allergic animals that the GAM interferon test does not pick up. And it definitely enhances the chances of detecting them, but there's no guarantee that that test will pick them all up.
And is it true to say that the blood is doing a lot of false
Deputy, I need
positives?
to move on to Deputy Newsom.